Yolan True, and welcome to another exciting day in our galaxy. Today I want to talk about another faction ship, and that's the Legionary. That is the first Romulan faction ship. The Legionary has certain abilities, and that is definitely a nice thing, but first we have a look. It looks like a little bit of a half the Derry decks, but it's much smaller, I can tell you when you see it in the game. But it's a nice Romulan ship with abilities because it has weapon damage increased by 30% against Federation ships. And that makes sense because the Federation are, so to speak, the arch enemies of the Romulans. If you hunt Federation hostiles, you get the most Romulan reputation you can get. And so it is very good that this ship has advantages against Federation ship. So you can kill higher hostiles than if you had another ship of the same size. And it is a battleship. That is important for something later, but also if you want to raid bases, a battleship doesn't harm there either. But the Legionary, like the D3, has two abilities. The Mayflower only has one, but the Legionary has two. And one is ship cloaking, so you can have a cloaking device for it, but you have to gain this. But how to do this, it's a topic for another video. That means the ship can cloak and for a certain duration, and it gets certain advantages from this cloak. And the other ability, also a topic for a different video how to get this, is Relentless Assault. That increases weapon damage against hostiles and armadas by 250% if activated. But all those abilities are topics for a different video, so I just give you a quick overview here that the Legionary can have this. And the Legionary is the first faction ship you can get. You see that you need 80 blueprints, but you also need a shipyard level 26, and you need 100,000 Romulan reputation to get blueprints for the Legionary and to build it. And that means you have to be favored with the Romulans. But they are not only blueprints in the faction store, you can also get blueprints via missions. And those I have to read because it's too many to remember. For the Legionary, with the missions, a friendly reminder, chaos and consequence, first blood, for the glory of Romulus, re-interference, and to seek out new life forms. In those missions you already can get Legionary blueprints as well. And of course also in the away team store. There you can always get faction blueprints if you have reached a certain reputation level. You need to get them, so have a look there as well. How away teams works is a topic for a different video as well. Nevertheless, the Legionary is a good starting ship, but there are two things I already said about the Mayflower and the D3 as well that you should remember. I recommend not to upgrade the Legionary at this early stage in the game higher than level 5 or no, level 25 or tier 5, because it uses a lot of ship parts, it uses a lot of materials, and you should aim early for the next step ship. So the Bortas, in case of the Romulans, then the Centurion or the Saladin for the Federation. And so don't max the Legionary at this point, but don't scrap it either to get something for the next ship, because later in the game you will need a maxed Legionary, just not now when you are on level 26, 28. That's not the time for a maxed Legionary. The time comes when the ships come out like the Katinga, the Valdor, and the USS Kelvin. And in this case, you will need the Legionary to help you improve your Katinga, because that's the battleship on that higher level. And the Legionary is a battleship. That's why I emphasized this in the first place. When you scrap a maxed Legionary, when you have a Katinga, you get a lot of 4-star ship parts and uncommon ship parts, which are really an annoying grind at that level, and you get 4-star material, and both you need to upgrade the Katinga. So I already scrapped several Legionaries for my Katinga because that is really, really helpful. And so don't max it when you're level 26, 28, whatever. Wait until you're in the 40s, but don't scrap it either. You will need it when you are in the 40 plus levels. So keep your Legionary and hold it warm, so to speak, because it will be helpful much later, and very helpful, believe me. And if you can, get more blueprints later to build more, because you need a lot of stuff at the level 40 plus. But for the beginning, as the first faction ship, it's nice. You can do some hostile hunting much better than with other things because of the ability, and it helps with base rates already. So there's a nice ship, but it's not what you want to use for a very long time. And that was just the introduction of the Legionary. As you know, I always do videos as long as necessary and as short as possible, and I don't need to go into many more details just for the introduction. So I hope I could give you some good advice on the Legionary. And if you want to hear some more on other ships, on buildings, crews, helpful tricks, the next video is right here in the end screen. I'll see you there. I'll be back.